Making Dylan heat drum. Oh, are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Welcome to the special Mike and Dylan hate drama special. I could have made a good little jingle.
Yeah, I think you just took the brown chicken, brown cow for our main one.
Is that what it is?
It's close.
Oh, it's very close. Look, whoever owns that, don't sue us, okay?
And nobody owns that.
Oh, what?
No, it's like brown chicken. It's like just a joke thing.
Guys, look, welcome to the Mike and Dylan hate drama special, where we are going to talk today about men's mental health. Gay, boo. So, we had a submission on Reddit. Someone was asking about, mental health.
And Mike was up in the middle of the night and responded immediately.
I was up in the middle of the night. We'll get into why I was up in the middle of the night. Mike's not been getting a lot of good sleep here lately. But I decided, I was like, you know what? I want to answer that on the podcast, but I want to do a podcast about men's. It just brings up a good question about like mental health issues, like, with guys and the whole, what kind of mindset does Mike have getting through his, day-to-day bullshit? I just thought it would be just a good thing to have.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't talk about it. Like, I know it's like talked about, but at the same time, like, it comes down to like, do men talk about it with their friends?
In the 1950s, if you were like, I'm feeling a little bit sad right now, they'd be like, son, are you expressing your feelings to me? Because we will send you to a place where they will shock you back straight.
Yeah.
So, let's not talk about our feelings right now before, I don't know, I take you behind the shed and beat you until you don't feel anymore. And you got to be cold, and you got to be hard, and you got to do everything that a man is supposed to do without feeling nothing. And then men responded by killing themselves in droves into what people would consider today an epidemic.
Or beating their wives. That was another option.
I think that's more of just a bad person. I think everybody else just is like, you know what? I don't want to beat anybody. I'm just going to get it over with. But so men make up 75% of all suicides in America. I don't know if that's worldwide. Men are 3 times, in essence, men are 3 times more likely to kill themselves. And that's because of the stigma that was created that, you got to be a man and don't be a bitch and just get through it.
Yeah, toughen up.
Yeah, just toughen up. God. And you're like, well, Papa, you seem so miserable. And he's like, I am. And, I might hop out of the 6th story of our building at work, but I'm going to do it like a man.
Yeah, I'm going to accidentally fall out the window.
Oh, no, here I go. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? You're like 20 feet away from that window. He's like, oh, God. Here starts the fall. Yeah, it's not gay as he falls down. But, yeah, it is look, I see a lot of David Goggin videos, okay? And I see people in the comments being like, bro, like, it's not that serious, bro. Like, shut the fuck up and shit like that. And look, people in the comment or, listeners are going to, I don't know why I said people in the comment section. I'm so used to fucking just
social media.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Felonious Falafel, back with a brand new adventure. But, listeners are going to be like, what? When Mike says that, bro, I agree with David Goggins, because he's not saying, get out there and fucking run 40 miles. He's not saying get out there and fucking, exercise and do all this bullshit. What he says is get up and do the thing that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Get up and do the thing that you don't feel like doing, even when you don't feel like doing it. He has a very charismatic way of saying it, but in essence, that's what he's telling people, is that it is my philosophy that you can whine, you can cry, like you can fucking hate the shit that you go through, and you could be very, very vocal about it. But you cannot give up. Like, you cannot stop doing whatever you're doing to get ahead just because shit sucks.
Yeah, you can change directions. You can like modify it, but like if you have a goal in mind, giving up is right. The only way you lose.
Don't be the guy at like a machine who just complains every day about how bad the company is and how bad the benefits is and shit like that, and then be the same guy that's there for 25 fucking years. Like, I will much more, like, I am much more, I'll talk shit about the company with you, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if I'm at that point, I'm looking for something better. Like, I'm trying to get into something better. And I just wanted to state my philosophy when it comes to, like, you know, mental health and being a man, how we should have spun that shit. It's like, look, you know, it's okay to fucking, you know, grope and fucking moan and yell about the shit that you got to do, as long as you are in the process of trying to do better. Because doing all of that shit, whining, crying, but doing the same shit to stay in the same spot, that's not cool. Like, that's not going to get you anywhere. And then we're just whining to whine.
Well, one of the biggest things is doing hard things actually is good for your brain. Like, going through the hard stuff is good for your brain. Like, making it through it, though. Like,
I don't want it to be, though.
Yeah.
I wish it was the easy stuff.
Yeah.
It was the easy stuff. Like, you know, fucking getting up and tying my shoes, my brain's just like, good job, bro. We did it.
Yeah. No. But and I think that's something with what we've kind of developed as our modern society is, you know, there's a lot of easy things that you can do and they feel good, but they don't improve like your mental health. Like, your mental health actually deteriorates if you just sit around and don't accomplish anything, don't try to learn new things, don't try to do new things, don't try to, like, you know, improve your health. All those things, like, they're hard, but they're worth it because they're hard and they actually make your brain better.
You know what? And I'm talking to you listening. Do you know how lucky you are to have Dylan here on this podcast? To actually, like, be like, okay, now we've got an adult in the room. Okay. We have somebody that we can listen to, say rational things. So I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought because of what you were saying.
Well,
keep speaking on what you were saying, and then it's going to bring me back to what I was going to tell you. I was going to start the reason why we're doing this podcast. Yeah. All right. So, you guys, you listening, often laud me for being an open book. Look, shit that I go through, I'll tell you that I'm going through it. All right. And I'll crack jokes at it, no matter how fucking, you know, in my past, how weird it was or how, you know, people would look at it. I don't give a fuck, because the most important thing that we can do as guys, if you have friends that you see are going through something, or just fucking, even if they're not going through anything, man, the best thing we can do is talk about it, because talking about it brings you farther away from the line of overreacting when you feel like no one in the world understands you. You know, we have, you know, me and Dylan know a guy who is going through a lot of, you know, just like health problems, mental issues and stuff like that. And he started talking to me about it, and, you know, I'm telling him, you know, fucking from, you know, point A to point B, what's happened in my life, and just like talking about it. He was just like, man, you know, I've never really been able to like talk to somebody and they get it. I was like, brother, like fucking 99% of all guys, they get it. But, you know, I don't know, people who try to sell courses to 17-year-old kids on how to be a man will call it gay to talk about your feelings. So,
well, and I think a lot of people, they don't know how to open up. Like, they haven't had the relationships where they can actually feel like they can be vulnerable enough to talk about, like, that they're struggling. Because struggling, like, we're all supposed to have it put together. Like, that's one of the other things with being a man, is you're supposed to just know what the fuck you're doing, trudge through life, like, get your retirement at the end of life, and like, that's the playbook. You're just supposed to work your ass off and then retire. And like, for the most part, like, a lot of guys don't know how to just be like, I'm not doing well.
Yeah, I'm
like,
drowning, man. I can't. It is a chore to breathe right now. Like, it hurts to exist. And I mean, it fucking, listen. All right. So, back when I had, you know, originally started content creation, I was working in a box shop. People know that. And it was around the time I had gotten to like a million followers on TikTok or some shit, that I was still working. And that was the closest I came to quitting, because I was like, man, I can't fucking like make money from this shit. A lot of creators would hit me up and be like, well, you just gotta, like, if you put this link in your bio, then people can download this game, and it costs them nothing, and you get like 25 cents. I was like, well, that's not real. You know, I'm not technologically proficient. I'm not, proficient with fucking internet shit or whatever. But if I don't know it, I'll watch a YouTube video. That Dylan will tell you that's my like biggest thing in life. I'm like, hey man, if you don't know something, somebody on YouTube does know it. So I looked it up, and essentially what they did was like someone would download the game and they would steal data.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to find an avenue of, it was like, hey, well, you could do merch, which usually had you going to like a print on demand place. And I initially did try to do that, but then like people would hit me up and be like, hey man, like look at this stuff I got. And this was like the biggest one too. So I was like, I don't imagine that the smaller print on demand merch companies were doing much better. So it was like to a point where I was like, man, I don't feel like there's any money in this. And and then you start doing the excuses because you're doing something else. Like you have a split focus on what you're doing. You're like, well, I'm doing, 60 hours at a factory and then trying to do this. So it's really easy to go, well, I've had a long day. I ain't got to post nothing. I've done all this today. I ain't got to post nothing. And that continues, man. And there was a point where I think I had posted one time in a month. And that was the lowest that I've ever posted. That was really the closest that I got to just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So there was a point where this was after I was a supervisor. I had actually left and went somewhere for the same amount of pay that I was getting paid as a supervisor. I went there and it was just like rough, and which, look, you ain't going to find many factories that, treat everybody well and do the right things and shit. But the breaking point came to when I was working on a machine, and the assistant that I had, his pregnant sister died of COVID. She was 8 months pregnant. So they had to do like the C-section and everything like that. And I had broke my ankle. And they had nobody to run this fucking machine. And, I like to say, I was like the, fuck you, I'll go home type shit. But I'm also like a rational fucking person. I'm like, yeah, there's nobody to run it. Everybody's working like 6 days a week. By the way, when I got that job, they was like, we never do that. Gotcha, bitch. so that fucking sucked. But so I have this brace on, okay? And I get to work and they're like, oh, you can't work with that on. Because I was like, I'll come in and I'll do it. And they was like, yeah, we'll let you sit down and whatever. So I have it's like a fucking boot that you have to have on. It's not like a cast that goes up your leg, but it's like a boot. And they were like, you can't have that. You got to have a steel toe boot on. I was like, okay. So then I get up to like where I watch boxes run through, and they got two guys with me that don't know fuck all. So I'm like, oh, so I have to set the whole fucking machine up from, feed table to load former. Got to set this whole thing up. And then this box shop wasn't one of the big box shops. These orders were like 1,000 boxes, which, fucking 10 minutes to run. So then after that 10 minutes of being able to sit down, I'd have to run again. So I did a Friday of that, and I was like, fuck that shit. I'm taking Saturday off. A, I was never supposed to work Saturday. And B, my ankle fucking hurts. So I come in on Monday. I know that I'm going to be in trouble. Like, I am prepared to have shit talk to me. I'm cool with it. What I'm not cool with is the supervisor comes up to me and he was like, so yeah, since you want to, I had worked Saturday. I just left early. Like, I had worked Friday, the whole Friday.
Yeah.
Just fucked up leg. So Saturday, I'm just like, fuck this. I actually, did go to work for the beginning, but like an hour and a half into it, I was like, nah, I ain't doing this. I'm done. So he comes up to me and he's like, well, since you decided you want to leave early, look at this message. And it was a message from, he's not like the plant manager. He's not a supervisor. He was some weird in between. He was also like leaving the company, but the plant manager was not even in the ballpark of being better. But I read the message and it was like, well, since Mike and they put my assistant's name, didn't want to come in on Saturday. His sister had died on like Thursday. Since they didn't want to come in on Saturday, they could work the next weekend. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I have two things that I have going on. If I focus on one, chances are like I could do something with that. And I don't talk about it a lot too, but because you got to, make the stories funny, kind of like flow together and shit like that. But there was actually a part where I like started just doing the full-time content creation. I quit, started doing that. And then I was like, fuck, my family's going to die. So I had actually got a job at a different box shop. They were great people, good guys. I was the shitty one because I was still more focused on content creation than anything in that fucking factory. But I did work there for like 2 months before they were like, brother, you never come in. And I was just like, really? Like, and they're like, yeah, you worked here for 2 months. You got like 25 points. I'm just like, well, I'm sorry. A lot of people there knew me though. So it was so weird. They were like, why aren't you rich? And I'm like, I don't know if it works like that, brother. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I think on that point though, like that you were saying when you were talking about everybody telling you to put like a game in there, they steal the data. Like, I think that's one of the things that like is tough as being a man, but like is to stand on principle. And like one of the principles that you have is to not sell out people that are supporting you. And like,
I hate that principle so fucking much, man.
Yeah, but like
Dylan be hating that principle too sometimes.
No, like I'm the
when
same
I'm like
way.
when I'm promoting labor llama and shit, and I'm like, but you ain't got to buy if you don't want to. I shouldn't even have to. But it's like, Mike, don't even put that in there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't like by saying like, hey, buy this. You're not like forcing somebody's hand to do it. Like you're just saying like, hey, this is something that I stand behind. This is a company that I built, and like I'd really appreciate it if you buy. Like selling things doesn't have to be sleazy. It's made into being sleazy by a lot of people, but like that's one of the things that I do in like my video side of everything is like finding the way to communicate something to an audience without like being sleazy about it. Like you don't have to screw people over to make a living, and that's one of the fallacies that becomes real is because there's so many snake oil salesmen. There's so many people out there that are going to sell you a course that, literally they took a course and now they've repackaged that course and now they're an expert on it and they're coaching for thousands of dollars. I mean, I see it all the time, but like those are sleazy people, and a lot of sleazy people win because they don't have morals or anything, but like you can still win with your morals intact. And I think that's one of the things that like I commend you on, just because like when it comes to the quick buck, if the quick buck comes at the expense of those who support you, you're not going to take the quick buck.
Is this the first time on the podcast you've ever said something nice about me?
I always say nice stuff about you.
I feel like this is the first time.
No.
Somebody will go back.
I've never said anything mean about
you. We need a nice, I know, but I think that's like the first, I mean, like real gay moment. Like I say a lot of like nipple sucking things to you.
Well, one of the things that like Mike didn't have a dad, and so like there's certain parts.
Well, it starts roasting me immediately.
One of the parts of like not having that is like you didn't see a good role model to like help you do things. Like the other day, Mike mentioned his refrigerator's been out, and I knew his refrigerator was out.
We're gonna get into the depths of that story in a minute.
But like the thing is when he said it to me, I was like, yeah, it sucks because you like don't have like much space for freezer or anything like that. And he's like, no, the freezer still works. And I was like, oh, well then that means your like system's still working. There's just something causing it not to cool in the refrigerator. And he's like, oh. And it was like a light bulb. But like to see the joy that came over you when you like were like, holy shit, like this is a chance for me to like man up, basically, like be the man of the house and do for my family. Like, and it's one of those things where like, if you don't know the right question to ask, you won't get the right answer. But like in that moment, like when you said that, I was able to like tell you like, oh, yeah, it's probably not that big of a deal. And you're like, I'm going to fix it. And like the pride and the joy that I've seen over the past couple of days while you've been dealing with it. Like,
I almost cried.
Yeah.
When you start saying
it's emotional. And like, I mean,
this is my boy though, man. Too. This is my look there. I'm the first person that'll tell you blood don't mean shit, man. And you're going to meet people in your life that are not like the people that you came from. And
no, and those are like the moments where, and like I've seen, like that's the thing. When I met Mike, I think I met him damn near his lowest. Like he wasn't, a full drug addict like he had been when he met his wife, but like he had gotten a lot of success through social media and then surrounded himself with people that were like basically like riding on his coattails thinking they were going to get rich by like being friends with you. And so like the saying that we've said in the podcast before, but like that you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and the people that you had surrounded yourself were actually bringing you down, not building you up.
So we'll kind of get into that too. So what Dylan is talking about with the like not full-blown drug addict is that non-prescription, by the way, because I'm supposed to not take stimulant ADHD medicine is I will take Adderall. Big letdown, guys, I know. But I literally take it in like prescription doses. It's not like I'm doing like 150 milligrams of Adderall a day, 20 milligrams. So the only thing like with Adderall with me is that I do have like horrid insomnia and shit. So it helps me like keep going when I'm just exhausted. The only thing is that yes, while like, you know, it's a stimulant, it'll keep you awake. I'm just, Dylan will tell you, I'm fuck all lazy on the shit. And when I don't do it, that's when like you see like Mike that gets shit done, Mike that's ready to do things, Mike that's happy, like fucking just Adderall. Technically, while I'm like, oh yes, I can person today, it's not a good person, and it's a pretty not good version of Mike. So I had started, when I started on my own, I started to do like YouTube and stuff like that. So money did like start coming in. TikTok had switched to like this new creator program, and I was like, fuck yeah, like this is going to be the shit that I need to do to actually get there. The reason I don't like, you know, fucking you pushing labor llama and shit like that, which, you know, it's the clothing brand I love, it's fucking ours, and I trust sending, you know, that to people. I trust people buying that because I know they're going to get good stuff.
Anything that's shit we have in a box.
Yeah,
we're like, this is wrong.
We
like,
QC everything. Me and Dylan just QC everything. Mostly Dylan. So got to throw that in there. So it had started coming in, and I had a friend helping me, and he would edit the videos. And essentially, he would edit the videos to a quality where I would edit the videos. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, oh, well, you're learning, and like you're here with me, and that's the only thing was before then he was not there. You know what I'm saying? And I guess like, you know, I'm not fucking making a fuck ton of money, but I am making some money. I guess like it's like, oh well, this could be something. Like he is getting all this, you know, attention and shit. So I would like pay him, and then it went to a point where I was like, you know, that little creator fund thing rolled in, and I was like, oh, I could just make them off my phone, and it's more efficient, and I ain't got to fucking edit them and shit, and do that. But then I could like not pay him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, but he was there, and it's like he's like part of the team and the family and shit like that. And eventually, so when TikTok rolls out like a new feature, they hype it up a lot and get you in it, and then they just fucking, they're like, all right, we're putting it in a different system. Fuck this system, we're putting in a different one. So you know, the money kind of ran out. He was still there, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, there's just like no money, and I don't know. He said like things to me that I would never like say to somebody. It was just so weird. Like he would be like, yeah, man, I just feel like, you know, if I don't get paid this month, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm like, bro, what? Like what? You know,
and like, I guess just to talk about like the relationship between me and you, like I do have my video business, and it's not running on all cylinders because like my focus is here.
Dylan has worked for free a difference between my friend who does not know how to edit versus a guy who many people will tell you is the best fucking professional videographer they have ever worked with. The shit that he does is phenomenal. Not only that, helping me out on the content side and shit like that. All but what, 2-3 months?
Yeah. But like the thing that I'm saying though is like when it came down to like there's not a lot of money in there, and like my business had enough that I could pay my bills. Like, I mean, I'm still slowly sinking into debt. Like I would rather see you not go broke and not get behind on your bills. If I can just make do over here, I don't need what's mine. Like I'd much rather see us like, so, you know, when you were saying like he had said like, or you had said like, you know, we're growing and we're going to figure this shit out. Like in those moments, like I'm thinking like, yeah, we are. Like there's no doubt about it that we're going to get somewhere. We're going to do something. So like if I have to take it on the chin right now, like we'll make it up in the future to like get back at it. But like,
let me tell you a big difference too, is that when you are, I don't know how many people saw the YouTube, but I would like do these fucking elaborate, like yes, they were one person, and I would have to time that perfectly. You remember the fucking old videos I used to make on YouTube. They would be 3 to 5 minute long videos where I am sitting there having a conversation with a person who was not there. and the whole video had to be timed correctly for like my reactions and shit like that, and they were fucking difficult to make, and I would always end them with like a crazy ass twist that you never saw coming. So they were incredibly difficult to come up with. So like I would be at a point where I'm just like, man, I don't know. And he's like, well, we got to get something out. And I was like, oh, well, you got any ideas? No. You'll come up with something. Bro, if I'm like, I don't know what to do. Dylan's like, oh, I got like 20 ideas. Tell me which one you like. And then we'll start going down. I'm like, he's just like, when you think of this shit is literally like it started Felonious Falafel, and Dylan, I'm not going to say damn near, he puts in more work than I do. Like when I have my shitty days and shit like that, Dylan's still there. Like he's still doing his things. Like it's just, and half the time he is, wrangling Mike back into fucking reality where it's like, we got to, and he is incredibly like fucking, he's sincere and honest and a 1 in a million guy. I'm going to stop fucking.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is though, is like what makes us good is we're a team. Like the creativity, like, yeah, I can give you some ideas to maybe spark something, but ultimately like it does come like this podcast without you. I'd be at like 50 listeners. Like I'd just be chilling here. Like, yeah, in
I don't
a couple
know, man.
years,
if you started a real
like,
niche videography podcast, I bet that shit would be doing numbers, bro. You'd be number 1 in videography. I guarantee you.
But like, I mean, and that's the biggest thing though, is like us put together is so much more power. Like you were great at what you did, but then when I came in, like I could bring something to the table that you didn't have.
We've told the story about how we met. I was going to do, I was wanting to do this web series called The Adventures of Clever Sykes and Peter Basket. It was a mockumentary about a guy leaving the Illuminati. So when I had initially had a camcorder and a boom mic, and I was like, I think I need somebody that knows what they're doing. So I looked up videographers in the area, and I'm up at, this building I was getting permissions to like shoot and stuff like that. And I looked up this one because I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. And when I looked up the address, it was right across the street. And I don't know, man, it feels like destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like, listen, when I tell, like, I can't even tell my kids the story about how me and, their mom, I can't be like, yeah, she was my boss. And I was like, man, woman, 9 years, bet I can bang her. Yeah. Bet I could do it. And then, like, I tell the story of me and Dylan, they're sitting there just like, oh my God, that's fucking beautiful. Like, Jesus Christ. But, so we get to where we're at now, which, like I said, it's been ebbs and flows. I don't know which one's ebbs and which one's flows, but it's been rough. Me and like it's tough to, I don't know, just fucking profit off of just being funny without the expense of somebody else. Yes. And I didn't get into this to like sell people shit and fucking do all that. I just got into it to be funny, and then I was like, oh man, I can make something of myself. Goddamn, my crazy fucking dream. Get back into a box shop. And I say all this not to fucking feel bad for me. Do not sit there and fucking feel bad. Do not buy a Labor Llama hoodie because you feel bad. That's always been a thing. Don't ever fucking don't pity me for my struggle. I'll get fucking through it.
Well, don't feel pressured for any of it.
Right. Like, yeah.
It's if you want it, get it. But like other than that, like
don't fucking, because at the end of the day, I could go back to a box shop. The only thing is, once I go back to a box shop, it's over.
Yeah.
All right. It's over. The refrigerator thing, listen, because Amy's real concerned with it, and I was just like, listen, it's just no good deed goes unpunished. And I've been saying fuck it, we ball for like 4 days now. Just fuck it, we ball, because she's like, oh, you gotta figure something out. You gotta like go to the doctor. You gotta do something with your tooth. And I'm just like, something will happen. Fuck it, we ball. Like we have to work too. So our refrigerator, the refrigeration side went out like fucking 6 months ago, bro. And we have been putting like all the refrigerated stuff in a mini fridge. All right. And I hope the people hearing this is just like, that sounds lame as fuck, because it was. And I felt less than a man that I was like, fuck, I can't like get a new refrigerator right now because I'm sitting here goddamn playing, let's fucking make it in something. You know what I'm saying? Let's be a fucking star. I'm sitting here playing goddamn star and not being able to fucking get like a refrigerator and shit. I have a kid's, my middle son's birthday's coming up, and you guys know my tooth broke in half. And it's still not. People's like, Mike, why don't you get a pool? And I'm like, oh, it's like $300, which would take half of the $600 that I have in my bank account, and we only get paid once a month. Like it's rough. Like I said, but that's not a reason to fucking like feel bad or none of that shit. So the refrigerator thing, I'm thinking this whole time that I have to get a new one. Look, I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't know shit about cars. I don't know shit about fucking electronics, fixing shit around the house. That shit didn't happen when I was growing up. All right. The shit that happened when I was growing up was I'd crack jokes and fucking play outside all day to avoid the fucking people in my house. So I didn't know how to do that shit. And when you think of like refrigeration, you're like all these fucking electronics and shit, and I can get shocked and everything like that. So, Dylan knew the refrigerator had went out, and he knew, like, because we have a deep freezer.
Well, I didn't know that it was still out, though.
Yeah, because we have a deep freezer. So you just assume that's what I keep all the freezer stuff in. And then he had mentioned something, and I was like, yeah, but we have a deep freezer. And then he said, well, that's not going to be. And I was like, oh, but we also have the freezer side of the refrigerator. And that's when he's like, well, if the refrigerator or the freezer side's working, the refrigerator side will also work. And it's probably not something big. So using AI and YouTube, I was able to deduce that it was the defrost system, the heat coil for the defrost system had went out. So that's not a hard fix. I took the refrigerator outside, like defrosted everything, took off like all the fucking back paneling. There was actually a ground wire that wasn't hooked up that I found out how to hook, put back to where it fucking went. Look, balling. Listen, but I had never assumed that I could do this type of shit. I was like, I'm not that type of. I'm
You're not a handyman.
I'm a fun dad to my kids, and I try to pay attention to my wife and shit like that. I'm not gonna be able to fix floors and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit goes out, electrical socket goes out, I gotta call somebody. HVAC goes out, I gotta call somebody. I never thought of myself like that. So I did have a lot of pride when I got that together, man. Like, it's just a goofy thing. You find your happiness where you can in life. So I plug it up that night, and it fucking works. And I was just, man, Dylan will tell you, 2:30 in the morning. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning to try it out to see if it worked.
What's wild is, like, I don't even know, like, I think you might have messaged me about that time, but like I woke up like
I think you messaged me first.
Somehow, like I ended up waking up about the same time. Like,
yeah, I just went outside to test the fridge, and I got a text from Dylan, and I was like, oh, the fucking refrigerator, it fucking worked. And bro, I'm fucking geeking out about it. So the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it in the house. So Dylan lets me use a dolly, and I take it home. And look, man, I ain't got like a brother or anything I can call. He's here editing. I'm not gonna be like, hey, Dylan, come up here and help me get this fridge in the house. I should have, because when I went to go lift this fridge, I just felt like a tearing pain in my stomach. So, like I said, no good deed. You get the happiness, then it just takes it right back.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I just unloaded like a 250-pound freezer in my driveway by myself, but I've done enough moving and stuff that I'm like, I know how to do this, and like I still should have somebody help me. But like,
I'm just like, God damn, why are you so awkward? Like, I'm trying to get this thing, and so I had to get it out of like the lip of the house. So I'm sitting there like trying to lean it back and fucking picking up one end and putting it on the fuck. I'm strong as fuck. For nobody that fucking does anything physically active. I don't know why. I'm strong as fuck, and I got like some muscle and like definition in my chest. I'm just like, I don't know, you big caveman. Fucking, I think I was like supposed to be
somebody
like
called you a Viking, and one of you're not.
There we go,
you're a Viking.
There we go. Now I'm gonna start doing. I'd do the braids if it didn't have a big ass bald spot. So now I got this fucking just terrible stomach thing on top of the tooth thing, and just absolutely going through it. And then we get a Reddit post last night, which finally we can kind of get into the fucking video about men's mental health and not Michael's struggle with lifting a refrigerator. So I saw this, and this is what just kind of inspired me to be like, let's do an extra podcast for this week, which I'm the last person that would do that. Look. But the title is Men's Mental Health. Hey, Mike and Dylan, I need some advice on how you all stay motivated to do productive things in your life when you are struggling with your mental health. I have been going through a depressive episode for the last couple of months. I normally love going to the gym and staying on top of my fitness, but since this spell has started, I have not been going as much. I have dropped almost 20 pounds, which is crazy because if I stopped working out, I'd go up 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I find it hard to eat and find it difficult to get the motivation to get back in the gym. How do y'all get back into doing what you love when you don't want to get out of bed in the morning? Also, I love the pod and it helps me get through the day. That last line might also be why I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, we'll put you on.
Yeah, if he ended it with like pod's all right, I'm like, Mom, we might get.
We'll answer this on the Reddit.
But I just, like you guys know, a lot of the fucking shit that I struggle with, and it's a whole just, I don't know, layered cake full of shit. And this has always been my philosophy. It kind of goes back to the whole, you know, you can whine, you can cry, but fucking do something about it. And that is, right now, I'm trying to make it in something that I don't know, you know, if we can make it in. It's a very scary thing to go away from something that is steady, like a full-time job, to be like, oh, I'm gonna bet on myself. Which, you know, when I said I was going to bet on myself, everybody looked at me and they was like, really? You going to bet on you? Well, all right, but there's a job here if you need it.
Is there somebody that can I take side bets on the other side of this?
Right. Look, I fucked over the over-under, though, because it's been like a year and a half.
No, it's been shit. We've been working together over 2 years.
Yeah, so it's been fucking beginning of 2022. Yeah, something like that. Goddamn. Listen, y'all can fucking like fact check my shit. I would never get the dates right. I would never get the dates right.
I retired is like my wife threw me a party for my retirement. I retired October 2021 and have been doing this since then. And yeah, so it's but yeah, like, I mean, with what I've been doing, like that first year, it was like 100% like, are you going to stick with this? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Because I went from having like good savings to literally $0. And right when I was like hitting $0, I was like, I'm going to have to find a job or something. And then like a job rolled in, and like a video job rolled in. And then like broke again, and then another one came in, and another one came in. And like, not that there's never been a moment in those, I guess it'll be 4 years this year. There's never been a moment where I'm like, you know, things are picking up, we're good. But at the same time, like, I've gotten to spend a shitload of time with my family. I've gotten to like not take them on vacations and do all the cool things that I could do if I had a regular job. But like, I've been there through, I can take my kids to their doctor's appointments, all that stuff.
Bro, that is one fucking phenomenal thing, because I could be in a factory working 70 hours a week, barely getting by, instead of, you know, trying to play funny guy, being a couple bills behind. You know what I'm saying? I do get infinitely more time with my kids. My oldest daughter, for the first, you know, 7 years of her life, I got to see her on Sunday, maybe.
Yeah.
So that is 100% a blessing. And also, I tell people not to be sad, because it's like, or don't feel fucking pity and shit like that. If anything, just be like, just fucking get a job, dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you should feel bad about. But to answer this question of, you know, with the mental health and how do you get out of bed, I just have this idea that, look, I can like fail at doing something. Okay. I can take a loss in something. Something can get taken down. I can get demonetized on a platform. Shit can happen. Shit can happen in droves. Fucking, it can compile itself onto each other. But I don't actually fucking lose until the day I just quit.
Yeah.
That's when I lose. That's when, you know, I couldn't cut it as, you know, someone trying to fucking, you know, entertain people. That's when I lose. I could work my whole fucking life and, you know, struggle to get by and always be behind and then fucking die. But I didn't lose in that instance. I just didn't make it. That's it. I didn't fucking lose. I just didn't make it. There's a lot of stories that you hear about people working at something really fucking hard until the day they died. That's not a fucking loser, all right? That's someone who gave it their all and just didn't make it. It happens in life. It happens in life. Like, that is a part of life. Some people make it, some people don't, all right? But if you really believe that you can do something to just your fullest extent, if you're like, this is what I want to do, this is what I know I can do, if you give it your all, and look, I could say each and every day, man, but there's going to be days where it's going to be hard. There's going to be days where you want to fucking quit. You're going to take time off of working out. It's a fucking part of life. But as long as you just don't stop, like as long as you can fucking have your boo-hoo, your fucking pity party and shit like that, and get back to it, You will never fucking lose at what you're seeking to accomplish. Yes, shit can happen and you might not make it. That does not make you a loser. That makes you a fucking man who went through all that bullshit. Look, till the day he fucking died, went through all that bullshit with everything telling him to stop. And just in the face of that saying, no, I'm going to continue. And that, in my books, is not a fucking loser. All right? This is just not a loser. Life is, bro, a motherfucker. Like, it's the worst motherfucker you're going to meet in your life. All right? It doesn't care about you. It doesn't hate you. It doesn't care about you, okay?
Yeah,
And
it's indifferent.
it's going to stack up things on you. It's going to stack up losses. It's going to stack up angers, death, fucking betrayal. It's going to fucking, shit's going to happen, man. Things are going to become fucking unbearable. But you can never allow that to let, for you to stop. You shouldn't allow it to make you quit. You have to get through it, because if you stop, once again, life is indifferent. It's going to keep piling it on. Whether you are fucking going through just the shit, miserable as fuck, or you are content with the bullshit that you deal with on a daily basis, life is not going to quit stacking shit on your plate. It's not going to happen. So in my eyes, I would rather be fucking miserable with a goddamn broken tooth in my fucking mouth and a stomach that I got an hour of sleep last night before I thought I had a dream about a monster eating my back. That's what, and then I woke up, I was like, it hurts. So it fucking, it woke me up. But I would rather go through all that shit, all right, and just fucking die not making it than to honestly be miserable at a fucking factory and just getting by and being content with the life that I have, damned myself to.
Well, not to say that that's wrong, because for some people that makes sense. Like, some people that is the path, and that's a good path for them. So like, each person is different in this world, and some people, like, the factory life is perfect for them. Yeah, they hate their job.
Yeah,
per se,
that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, box shops.
I know.
Especially when all the other box shops refer to the box shop I worked at as gladiator school. Yeah. I was just like,
I know you're not saying that like to people. That's all I'm just trying to clarify, is that like whatever it is in life, and you can work the factory job and then have that passion outside of that, whether it's your family or whether you're into fishing or hunting or skateboarding, whatever your thing is. Like I think that's the point you're trying to get across. Like, you chose you wanted to entertain as your job, but like technically if you were still working in the box shop and you were entertaining, like, it's, if you give up on that dream, that's when you lose.
That's when I lose, right? Once again, Dylan is the adult in the room. What I meant by that is, it is perfectly okay to be like, look, I work a shitty job. I don't give a fuck, because, I work, 5-6 days a week, whatever. I go home. I have a good time with my kids. I enjoy, that is what brings me happiness. Yeah. And, this job is, not too shitty where I don't get to see them. So there is absolute beauty in finding, happiness in life. There's a difference between like being content and happy, and then being content and miserable at, what's going on. Yeah. And that was more so what I'm speaking of. If you are listening right now and you're like, fuck, there is something that, I've always wanted to do, and you're sitting at a place that you don't want to be at, you gotta try, man. You gotta make time if you ain't got it. And that's going to require sacrifices, whether it's, sleep or social time with your friends. You gotta keep on keeping on, because I'm going to tell you something, man. Like, since I was a kid, I was like, fuck, I want to make people laugh. I've been through shit, man. So it brings me happiness to make people laugh. And I don't know. Yeah, I could never, you just can't let it go, man. I always told myself, because, I did like the fucking stand-up comedy and shit like that. And I was, writing like goofy little fucking movies and shit, and, being funny in front of my friends. And I was always like, if I don't make it by 30, I'm just going to just do this.
Well, I think,
and then 30 came around and I was just like, nah, I can't, and it was, I think June was when like shit started to happen. So I am glad Mike, fucking can't stick to a schedule. So Dylan will tell you that. Cannot stick to a schedule. That's great, because I was going to quit by fucking 30. But if there's something that you just really want to do and everything in your fucking body and in your mind says that you should not do it, you're not going to be happy unless you fucking at least give it your all. And look, it sounds like a lot, but that if you give it your motherfucking all, like, you'll find something in it. You will find something in it. It might not be money. You know, not a lot of people are looking for that. That's not something I'm looking for. I was in my brain, I'm like, bro, me and Dylan talked about this, you know, fantastical world where we made like, you know, fucking $80,000 a year, enough to feed our family. And we just like wrote skits and shit like that. Content creation doesn't quite work like that, and we're trying to figure that part out. But that's like the goal, bro. I'm not sitting here like, yeah, I want fucking $10 million. I just want to be able to live comfortably doing what I love.
Well, and I think one of the people that I know you have a lot of respect for him, but a lot of people like to shit on, and like basically he does a very good job of summing up kind of your point there, is Gary Vee. Like when he talks about it, he's like, you know, like you only got one life, like you can do this, but like sometimes it's going to be giving up friends. It's going to be giving up the vacations. It's going to be selling the nice car.
So Gary Vee just happened to get it big when like really into like the zeitgeist. When all the other like crypto bros and, well, he's not a crypto, but you know, the crypto bros and the people trying to just like sell you courses on how to be a man came up. So they just kind of lump him in there, where he's like, look, if you're happy and you are, you know, working an office job where you work 40 hours a week and you make, you know, fucking $70,000, you go home to your family and everything's, that's awesome. Yeah. That's great. Where you got like the other ones that'll be like, that's not a man should want to make $1 million bajillion. Take $5,000, go buy you 9 houses. Okay. Get a loan from the bank for $10 million. Goddamn, anybody can do it. He's different. Like you know, the one video that I showed Dylan, even though he's like more knowledgeable about Gary Vee than I am, is him just telling that girl that she's already like you are already somebody. Yeah. And that, like, I have never been like, well, you know, Mike, you're a nobody. It's just like, I have set my brain to do this, and through hell or high water, I got to fucking do it. And that's what adds on to like the mental health shit that.
So on this, can I talk about like what I would do in his scenario?
Yeah, let me just touch on the mental health part, and then because I know you got Dylan has brought show and tell stuff. He's brought stuff for the class to see, but on the mental health stuff, once again, I talk about like the emptiness and how emptiness is just the fuck. That's the worst. The worst feeling is the absence of feelings. It's terrible, and Dylan tell you what I'll do, man. I'll sit in my fucking car, smoking a cigarette, watching fucking it's not over until I win. You know, fucking just motivational fucking speech until I get a spark to do what I gotta fucking do, man. And is it painful sometimes? Yes. Is it hard sometimes? Absolutely. Do I fail and then not do the thing sometimes? Yes, that does happen. I'm not sitting here like, Mike goes to work every fucking day and does it. That's along their point, is like, you know, they're like, you know, I've lost 20 pounds of muscle not fucking doing this. Just get back to it, man. Like, find that spark. There's various things you could be going through, a lot of different things. If you try to find the spark, you will. Like, it's the spark to fucking do something. If you try to find it, you will find it. That is, I have felt the emptiness of mental illness, the fucking, just the complete dread, the hopelessness of it. And through that shit, have been able to find it, because once again, if you believe that you can fucking, if you could believe that you can do it for the day, here's the coolest thing that I ever fucking heard. I don't know who the fuck taught it to me or fucking said it. Probably some white woman with the same name as a yogurt brand or some shit. But they were like, don't think of the task as like you're trying to fucking go work out and get all these muscles and shit, bro. Just go to the fucking gym and be like, look, I'm gonna walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. That's it. And then I'm gonna take my ass home. That's it. That's all I'm gonna go do. Because here's the thing about mental illness, like especially like with your ADHD and shit like that. When you think of a whole project, that shit's overwhelming. Like, it's overwhelming, and it just like, yeah, I got to do all this shit. But if you're like, man, look, that's what I'm like, yeah, man, I'm here. I'll do like, you know, a podcast or something, and then we fucking work and, you know, have a great fucking day, because I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna get in there and just do something little, man. And that works with anything in life, anything that you have to do, any project that you got to do. If you're like, hey, I'm just going to fucking, I think someone compared it to like a dirty room. If they were like, if you got this just dirty room that's completely destroyed, looking at that, you'd be like, fuck, there's so much shit. But if you're like, you know what, I'm just going to fucking just like rearrange this shit right here. I'm telling you, man, like the easiest way to find that spark is to kind of fucking think of it like that. And then to just start doing it. Because then once you start doing it, then while you're getting the spark, you're already fucking doing it. So now you're just fucking in it, man. And before you know it, you will be back. And I have 100% confidence that because you said, hey, like, I feel bad that I didn't go to the gym and do this. And, how do you get through it with mental health? I know you have that want to find that spark. So just having the want to do it and the want to be better, I 100% believe that not only are you going to get back into the gym, but you're going to get back into the gym and you're going to hit your fucking stride, man. And you're going to be able to do things that you didn't think. You're going to be able to go farther than you thought you could because, yes, you stopped going for a little bit, but it ate at you. Like it fucking bothered you enough to, post a status in our fucking subreddit. So that shows that you have the want. And I got complete confidence that you're going to fucking knock it out of the park.
Yeah, like, I mean, that was, you covered a lot of what I was going to say, so thanks for stealing all of my material, but,
I saw it in your eyes, I was like,
you're like, oh,
yeah.
he's about to say this.
Oh, he's about to say some real Gandhi shit right here.
So, like, my biggest depressive episode I had in my life was, I broke up with a girl that I'd been dating for 4 years. I cheated on her to break up the relationship, so I felt like shit after
Solid
that.
strategy, yeah, they usually don't want to continue after that.
No, she tried to come back, like, she was the one that didn't trust me at all, and so then I did something to make her not trust me, and like it was a shitty strategy, but it was the way that I could put it in my brain that like we're done because we'd broken up but not actually broken up, and everything was going to be better. And so like I did that, and then at the same time my dog had died, and then my parents moved away. My parents have like lived with me off and on throughout my adult life. Like I had a house, and then I allowed them to move in.
I love you, brother. I guarantee you there's a country song that hits every single need you just said.
But so like all that was going on, and so I was living at my house by myself. I had Buddy, my other dog, but that was like a period in my life where I didn't really, like, all my friends were married, so I didn't really have anybody to like go out and do anything with. And so I found myself in this like perpetual loop of like I'd wake up in the morning, go to work, come home from work, sit around the house, go to sleep, wake up, do the same thing. And so like I had nobody in my life. And at that point, like I was like, I got to pull myself out of this. And like I couldn't just like all of a sudden be like, I'm going to go, socialize and do all this stuff. So I was getting into photography, I think, before the depressive episode. And then I was like, let me just go out and take pictures somewhere. And so like I'd go out and do something. And then I decided to make that trip further and went to the mountains. And then like eventually it led into like a 5,000 mile road trip all the way out to like Arizona and Utah and all this other stuff. But like I found myself like doing things simply to do something, because like sitting around the house, even if you're like watching TV or playing video games or doing anything like that, like you get so internalized that the depression feeling never goes away. Like you're just like stewing in it. And the only way that I could like get it to like start going away was to going to do those little things. And then it eventually led to me like, going out to grab a drink by myself at the bar. And then, I met some friends while I like not friends, but like I'd meet new people. And so then like it just started to snowball into like me regaining who I was prior to the depressive episode. And so like with your situation here, like you're not going to the gym and everything, like just go out for a walk. Go for a walk. Like I know that's not going to the gym, but like just go do anything. Like the smallest little thing that you can do, just start. Like what Mike is saying is like, if you're cleaning your room, if you clean a shelf instead of the whole room, it's going to snowball into more stuff. And so it doesn't have to be go to the gym and necessarily walk on the treadmill. Like walk around your house or your neighborhood or your apartment complex or whatever. Like just take a walk and like start with something bite-sized that can then start helping your brain like realize that like, yes, this sucks, but like we're going to get through it. We're going to be okay. And it will snowball into you getting back to probably better than you were before the depressive episode. And so like that's where I brought my show and tell. Like I've got just, this is my at work collection. I haven't read them while I'm at work. It's all like, you know, wishful thinking. But like I've got like a bunch of self-help books that throughout my life, like part of the reason why I don't think I've fallen down so much, part of the reason why like I can push myself through things better than a lot of the people around me is because I started like reading these things when I was like 18. I had an a girlfriend at the time. Her brother-in-law started me on self-help books, and you know, like at 18 I was like, these are kind of cheesy, but then I started reading them and ended up getting to a point where I was like, okay, well, like even if they are kind of cheesy, like the lessons in them aren't necessarily cheesy. And so like with atomic habits, like that's one of the things in there is like if you do want to go to the gym, you get all your workout stuff ready the night before and set it like right by the door before you, or like right by your bed, wherever it's going to be really convenient, that like you can't be like, well, I got to do all this stuff to get, no, make it easy so that you can then start developing that habit.
I do want to make it clear nobody from any self-help thing has ever paid us or gave us any fucking money. I don't want to.
No, and like atomic habits, like it's one of those things where like if you want to develop a habit, like he's got the playbook in there and you can find it all online for free. You don't have to read the book.
A bunch of books like that too. So,
but like the thing is like with this situation, like you have to make it easy for yourself to start taking the steps to get out of the funk, because that's really all it is. Like, yes, there's chemistry in your brain, but like the chemistry in your brain is affected by your actions. So if you start taking those small steps, then like the dopamine responses and all that, I don't know all the physiology behind it, but like there's plenty of chemicals that when you start doing things in a positive way, like towards what you're trying to do, it's going to start snowballing towards being a more positive outcome.
I think it's that delicious fucking chemical called serotonin. God, yeah, I would like to come buy a pot of that. So I do have a question from the story you just told. When you went out and took the pictures, is that what kind of like led into the like you doing video and stuff?
Yeah, like I mean I did video, like Jackass style videos back when I was like teenager and everything, and I took darkroom photography. But like one of my friends, he was taking pictures, like he was doing like modeling, like taking pictures of models and stuff like that, and I never really liked taking pictures of people, so I started going out to like parks and things like that, doing landscape photography. And then one of my other buddies was working with this guy doing like music videos, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool, because like I hadn't really touched on video much. And so I was just like, hey, can I go help on the music videos? And then that turned into me taking all my experience from like all the like side hustles and stuff that I've done and like how to market and all that, and pairing that together with video. And that's really where my video business came from.
That is a beautiful story. I do have to joke on it though, because you starting by going to take pictures like of outside at like a park and shit, that's like every white woman with an iPhone. Like that's their dream, is where you got to. You know, they do it, but then they quit.
Did you see my Instagram? I think my pictures are a little bit better.
Enjoy the joke, man. You know how they take a picture of a chair in black and white, and they're like fucking so profound. Yeah. Like that's it right there. They're just like, you are what they think in their mind.
No, when I got back into it, the camera that I purchased because I wanted to take astrophotography, so pictures of the stars. And so like
terrifying. I see pictures of like Australia and the fucking whatever they call it, down under backwoods. I don't fucking know, something like that. But where it's just like the fucking constellations and shit like that.
Yeah,
petrified.
So you can actually see that at like Oak Island. You can see it with your naked eye there because it like faces south, but like technically the coast comes in, so there's not a lot of light pollution. And that was like one of the first times that I ever really got to see the full.
Do you know the guy, or do you know the author of the book you showed us?
Yeah, it's James Clear.
Like, you know about him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just didn't want us to be like push a book and it'd be like some Bill Cosby shit.
No.
I was like, whoa, listen. I just like, what was Bill Cosby show?
The Cosby Show?
Yeah, fuck. Jesus. Look, keep it easy. That's what I say. Keep it easy.
Well, no, like with this guy, he was going to be like probably would have been like a professional baseball player, but like I think it was his senior year, somebody went to hit a ball, and when they let go of the bat, it like crushed his skull, and so he was like intensive care and like
Jesus
all this
fucking
stuff,
Christ, yeah.
and then he ended up like trying to like get better get better so that he could start playing baseball again, but then he realized that like he was never going to be at the level that he was, and but through all those things, like he was developing habits that really like helped him achieve things, and so he just kind of developed the playbook for that.
That's dope. I do want to reiterate that I have no clue who that guy is or that book. And I did this like as the show and tell joke. That guy did not give us any money because I was like,
No.
fuck, that would be fucking crazy to be like, sob story and then be like, fucking, but here's a self-help book that can fucking change
No.
everything. Because my philosophy is, it's always good to better yourself and like to get confidence in yourself, and that's going to help out a lot. But just like speaking about the issues, man, like the normalizing talking to your friends about just like, bro, like I'm fucking, I'm sad. And look, man, there's this one video I love that this friend is like, if I was feeling depressed, would you guys talk to me? And they're like, fuck no, fucking, and they're like calling them gay and shit like
Yeah.
that. And they was like, I would tell you to jump or, shit like that. But like at the end of the day, those are the same guys that if he was feeling that way, he would fucking talk to. And it's just something we got to like fucking normalize and change about the fucking perception of man. Cause there is a perception of man that, you need to provide, maybe fucking serve in the military, fix shit, and goddamn keep your mouth shut about it. Like you're a fucking man. You just need to fucking stick your chest out and fucking deal with it. And I don't know, man. It does feel like a lot of the guys who like we grew up having that told to us, then we're like kid diddlers too. Like they always do like the most fuck shit. Or like you said, like they'll beat their fucking wives or kill them or some shit, like they'll fucking snap. It's a different time, man. It's where we do have to talk about this shit now, especially what social media and, everybody lives this just fucking happy life and everybody's so fucking happy. Nobody's goddamn happy. Like nobody is truly fucking happy. Nobody lives in an existence where the time they wake up, the time they go to bed, they're just in a state of just fucking happiness. It's not real. Social media will get you thinking that, man. And that's why even now, like now more than ever, conversations, talking to friends and stuff like that is important, because that immediately lets somebody know that there is somebody out there that fucking feels the same way as you do. Or just listen to a goddamn Jelly Roll song. Because look, every time I've heard I'm not a fan of Jelly Roll. I like him as a person. He seems to do all good stuff and be a really nice guy. When his songs play, they're all sad. Look, they're all sad. That is a good thing though too, like listen to sad music, because that is an artist speaking on, the sad shit that you have going on in life. And I know a listener is going to bring up the Dax song that's like the Be a Man.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that song, actually. I like it. It bops. Like it sounds good, and the chorus is really good. But in that, like he talks about, just like women, they only want you for like money and shit like that. And your kids only want you for, look, I'm going to tell you right now, your children, maybe when like they're teenagers, they see their other, teenage friends getting shit. They might say something out of the way that they don't fucking mean, but they love you regardless. Like they love you completely regardless.
As long as you don't treat them like
yeah,
shit.
yeah. As long as this goes without saying.
Yeah.
As long as you are being, a dad to them, they like, look, a kid is not going to remember the shit that you get them. Okay. They are going to remember the times where, they went outside and fucking played this game with dad. That's what they're going to fucking think about, man. There was, I took, my youngest daughter to the beach. This is when we just had her, or middle son was like very babyish, okay? And she had to be like, 4 or 5 years old. Look, I'm doing the math on how old my kids are in my head. So yeah, he was little baby. But I remember we stayed in like just like this like shack that's like far away from the ocean. So there was a pool right out back. We're at the beach. All right. We're like, I don't fucking walk out there. But it's like getting evening time, and she has never swam during the evening time. And we go out to this pool that's just in the back that, you don't think anything's going to happen. And they have these fucking lights come on, man. And I guarantee you, me and her played in that fucking pool for like 6 hours. And she'll bring that up. She'll be like, remember that pool we went to that just had like the fucking lights when we played? Yeah. Nothing about a goddamn beach. Not a singular thing about a beach. She was just like fucking, she was jumping off and shit like that. And women is just like, women are people. They're just like guys. You're going to get some bad ones. You're going to get some good ones. Love is tough. Love, it's my philosophy. Once you find the right person, you get as much as you put in.
Well, and you got to communicate. Like, that's one of the tough things. And that I deal with that with my wife is like, she doesn't know the stress and all the stuff that's going on in my brain.
We make it look good. Yeah.
I don't talk anything about it.
We make it look good.
And so like, she's like, I didn't realize you had like, because like once, enough dominoes fall, you like break and you get like angry and you're like, well, I'm doing this and this, and then you spout it all off. And then she's like, I didn't know, like you haven't said anything. And I was like, oh yeah. Well, like that's how I handle it is I just bottle it up. I take care of it. I just do all the things I like without any help. I don't ask for help. I just do it all. And then like until I reach a breaking point, and then like I take it out on the wrong people. And then I realize like, well, that was an asshole way to do it. But like, that's the only time that I feel like I can like actually open up, when I'm like angry and like want to spout it all off. But like, other than that, I'm just like, no, I'll take care of that. No, take care of that. And I just like take all of it on and, expect everybody to know everything, all the responsibilities that I have on my plate without ever once voicing like, oh yeah, I'm kind of stressed about this. I kind of got that going on. I don't say it calmly because like, I just don't say it until it's like a huge thing.
Dylan was once describing a person in his life. I'm not going to say the relationship. Great guy, by the way. But he just like, he's one of the, older types that likes to bottle the stuff in and then he lets it go. And it's not like they're being mean to you, but they're very fucking passionate at a time where you're like, whoa, where's this coming from? And then what's so funny is right after Dylan tells me that story about that relative, we start having a conversation. I forgot what the fuck we were talking about, but he's like going the fuck off. And I'm like, remember what you just told me about? Yeah. And he was like, oh, fuck, yeah, I just saw that.
That's me.
The good part is too with I guess the good part is like she sees it now because I've been dealing with the broken tooth for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And now I got the stomach thing. And I remember when she first said, like, she was like, well, look, just go to like that little dentist school and get a pool. It'll be like $200-$300. And I'm listening. I'm like, we ain't got a fucking fridge. We ain't got this. We ain't got this. We ain't got this. We ain't got this. Like, I got to fucking do this. I'm fucking drowning. The last thing I care about is this goddamn tooth. Like, what's the fucking Castaway. I will cast away this shit because we made that joke yesterday with the pliers. I was like, look, man, I've been watching that fucking scene where he does it with the fucking ice skate.
Trying to figure out tips on how to do it.
How to pop it. Because he just passes out and then he wakes up. He's fine. He's out in the fucking desert. Look, has to be close to being real. It's in a movie. Jesus Christ. But, it's just like, we don't like showing people the struggle. Because, look, that's one thing, man. It's a heartwarming thing. It's the most heartwarming thing a dad don't want to fucking hear is when a kid says, I want to be just like you, Dad. Just like, man, I don't want that for you.
No.
I just like, that's the last thing I want is for you to have to go through that shit. But it's talking about it, man. And talking about it makes shit better. Like it does. There would be shit when me and Dylan would be working that, I didn't feel comfortable with. And then, I just started telling him everything. Bro, I was struggling, like, with the fucking, listen, I am in the camp. Adderall is just not good for you. Like, it's just not good. Because if I am diagnosed with something and that shit is, like, bad, and I'm just like, I can't imagine what it's doing to the people that just fucking, and maybe it's just me. Look, and people really do find, like, I just felt like, yeah, I could get focused on something. It was not the right shit. Like, fucking, could I do it and then go play some Elden Ring for 8 hours? Absolutely. Mike, you're going poor while you do that.
Well, I think one of the interesting things that you noticed, though, was like when you came off of it, you're like, I played a couple games, like a little bit, and then I got bored.
I could not, like, normally I would play fucking, it's on my phone, Magic Arena, bro. I'd play that 15 games, best of 3. people who play Magic will be like, what the fuck, Mike? That's what I would do. I cannot get through 2 games without being like, it's not even like, man, like, you know, I want to go work. It's just like, I want to do something fucking else than this. Like, it's just not.
When you had your fun and like, you're like, okay, well, like that's enough. Like
The best thing though is, so like I talk about the, you know, tramadol abuse back in the day where I was doing a fuck ton of it. I went to work. I never spent any money on it. I'm not gonna tell you how I had a good grandma. All right. And she was like, I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna fuck yeah, mama. But like all that shit, I don't know. It's really hard to be like, you know, because you see some people that go through drug addiction, they ruin their fucking lives. Like they do all that shit. So to me, even talk about it, and then I'm just like, well, they're like, well, did you do that? You know, have you ever been to like a fucking like a rehab and shit like that? I'm like, nah. So I'd just be like, you know, we gotta like stop or like, you know, take a break or something. Like I could do that. And I did that with the Adderall, and then I went through with the first big withdrawal from it. Because it's not been like a fucking like a super long thing. It's been quite long. More than a year. But like I said, I never did, because I know me too. I guess I'm a good self-aware drug addict. Yeah. I still want it. I still want to do it. The most I would take in one singular day was 40 milligrams. And that would be like a Friday night if I was going to go play some like Magic or shit. You know what I'm saying? Or I had to be fucking extroverted, because I was so convinced. I was like, I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And then all these introverts was like, brother, you are not an introvert. And I got off the Adderall, and then I was, you know, fucking talking to people in public again. And I was just like going up to somebody and, you know, asking them about their day. So, like I said, once again, we're not going to get into like a fucking marriage thing where, you know, Mike gives his either jaded or biased opinion. It could be different for other people, but I was like, man, it's just not good. Honestly, which I don't count weed as when people are like self-medication. Weed is just, it's a plant and literally can do no like physical harm to you. I wish I could enjoy that.
You can develop bad habits with it, but it's not the weed.
Like it can make you lazy. I wish that's the one where I was just like, man, I wish when I was a kid smoking weed, I was like, man, this shit's great. I was like, man, I just want to sit here and lay. And that's not what Mike wants to do. Mike wants to do shit. He wants to be fucking, you know, sporadic and stuff. So that led me to different things.
See, if you did it at the right time of your youth, though, you'd find things to go do so that you could sneak off and do it. So you'd like do activities like, oh, we can go over here and
I'm not going to get into I'm not going to get into the like I said, there's some things I don't talk about, but I was exposed to prescription pain pills at a very, very young age. So like I said, just the dumbest you guys know the fucking family. The dumbest things, and they'd be like, well, you know, this will probably help. And then like, well, are you a moron?
No.
Good intentions, I guess, which is, once again, when I talk about this person, I say that they did the best they can with the fucking shit that they went through and the knowledge that they had. But it's just, bro, I probably smoked weed for the first time 9 or 10.
Yeah, me too.
And then I was just like, it's just not my cup of tea. The funniest shit was I was like 10 and I went through this like cigar thing. I wouldn't inhale them or nothing like that. Just, but you didn't have to. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then not long after that was like, you know, prescription pain medication and shit. Back when it was cheap. Listen, that's crazy. Street drug prices. Fuck fentanyl too. Fentanyl's another reason why I was just like, I'm not. No, I don't want to die. Like, feel good or die. That's why I'm a very self-aware drug addict. But that's when, you know, and then older, I started getting to like a little bit of harder stuff. But thank God that didn't last. That lasted less than a year. And like I said, I think the only things I've never tried is crack, meth, and heroin.
I mean,
because I knew, I was like, man, like this stuff, like I feel like, you know, with the tramadol, I got to like a real fucking struggle with it. Everything else, like I'm gonna tell you that was the hardest one by far. Adderall second out of everything that I've ever fucking put down in my life. Those were like the top two. That tramadol shit, bro, because it's synthetic. So then not only are you going through opiate withdrawal, because it's a synthetic opiate, but then it also has like these psychological factors too. And now there's all this shit coming about tramadol, how you're like more likely to have Alzheimer's, taking it regularly, not at like, 350 milligrams.
Yeah.
That's like the cutoff before you get into the high risk of the granular seizures. And then us being like, well, we could probably get past that by like, just like doing a gabapentin, which, by the way, gabapentin by itself, terrible. It's like the worst part about being drunk, with none of like the, hey guys, that was I was like, without this other guy, I wouldn't even hang out with you. That was just a fucked one. But I don't know where I was at before I started that. I think I was trying to make a point. But
I think the way that I avoided drugs as a like actual addiction.
Oh, it was the weed thing. Yeah. It was like, so I have throughout my whole youth was just like one thing that's weird, and I have no fucking clue why. It makes me super fucking nauseous too. Like to the point I want to throw up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's always done
in all forms, like whether
every
you smoke
every singular one. And I was just like,
you've tried like eating it too, and you still feel that way?
No, I've never tried eating it.
So that's the weird thing is like it definitely affects you in different ways. Like we've been doing the THC drinks that are now legal, and like did that do that to you when you drank it?
No, I'm always fucking scared to like fuck around with those.
Well, I mean, we drank it when we went to the
yeah, but like if I'm like, by myself and I drink a whole one and then I'm like, oh fuck, and then I drink another one and then I'm around, nobody that understands that I'm too high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's so fucking funny, bro? I had to go to the hospital one time because I panic attacked off weed.
Yeah.
Off weed. I smoked it. I was like, I forgot what I was trying to do. I think it was like for like pain or some shit, and to help to get sleep. That's what the fuck. It was to get sleep, the dorkiest fucking thing. But I remember one night, like I had hit it, and I was like, I'm not getting, like I'm trying to go to bed. Or no. This was like during the day, and I was just like having a fucking, just like a shit day. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I did way too much because I had bought like a clean bong and shit like that, and I did 2 like full hits of it, which was way more than I was smoking at that point. And like I'm like really high, and I start to have a panic attack, and my heart's beating out of my chest, and it's so fucking stupid too, because I'm just like, man, I'm really good at like fighting off panic attacks, but it's like high Mike's like, no, we're probably dying, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, we're not. We go through this all the time, bro. We have panic attacks. Like, it's fucking cool. It's okay. We're gonna get through it. And he's like, nah. Heart's not going to stop. So my heart was beating like that for an hour. I'm talking about beating so hard and fast I could feel it in my ears. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I ain't going to go into cardiac arrest. So I go to the emergency room, and she was like, has anything happened? I was like, yeah, I smoked a bunch of weed, and I'm pretty sure it's causing a panic attack. And she was like, you know how many people just don't fucking start with that information? I'm just like, wow, that's what happened. So I want to, like, if I'm dying, not die. And that's why I tell people, like, if you go to the hospital, bro, doctor, just tell them.
They don't care.
Yeah, tell them what you go through. Tell them if you're sexually active or if you inject meth. Look, I mean, some people might not tell for, because they want drugs, but if you are not going to the doctor to seek drugs, just tell them what you got going on.
So a funny story about that. I was at work, and my wife calls, and she says, I fell and hit my jaw. And like, I was like, are you okay? She's like, no. And then I get home, and she had fallen up our brick steps and smacked her jaw on the brick steps. And she has the issue where she passes out. Well, I get her almost all the way to the hospital. It's like a 15-minute drive. I get her almost all the way to the hospital, and she passes out. So like, I'm sitting there holding her up, parking, and then I have to like firemen carry her into the hospital. And then once we get in there, like, she can't talk because her jaw is like now swelling, and so she can't talk. And I'm trying to convey, like, I was at work, she fell and hit her face on the steps. They're like, no, she needs to tell us. And I'm like, she fucking hit her jaw. Like, they think that I
Oh, what is your name Steps? You must be like, Steps.
And then they were like, she needed something for the pain, and they wouldn't give her anything for the pain. I guess it's because we're all tattooed and look like roughnecks or something. Like we were just fishing for fucking painkillers. But they would, like, she literally sat in the emergency room for like 2 hours before they gave her a Tylenol.
It's not actually because you're tattooed. It's because, listen, conspiracy theorist Mike, opiates, they were fucking readily available. And it's so crazy. As soon as fentanyl hit the streets, they were like, "Oh, we need to get all the prescription painkillers off the market, so he just got this fentanyl out there that actually kills people.
Yeah, the craziest thing though is they wouldn't even give her a fucking Tylenol. Like they didn't give her anything, nothing for the pain, not anything. Didn't inject her with morphine, didn't fucking give her anything for like 2 hours.
Sir,
And,
because
like,
we need her to tell us the story about how you beat her.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like she is literally like, she ended up, it didn't break anything, but it like dislocated her jaw and
Ugh.
like it was just gonna like settle back into place eventually. But it was just wild because they would not help her at all.
Did she talk to you like Ted and Ted? Like, I'm a little bit fucked up. Will you still love me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like, I mean, she gonna ooh her jaw at all.
When she got better, did you ever like say like walk much? Because as soon as like something happens in our household, whoever gets hurt, like everybody else is going to be like.
Well, she was wearing slides with socks, like, and like was rushing to get an order out. She used to make like props for beauty pageants, and like she was rushing back and forth like from inside to out in the garage, and just like hit the step but like didn't fully get it, so the slide fell off, and then she went and faced right into the. Luckily she didn't like hit teeth or anything.
Listen, it is low-key good that they did just assume that you were abusive, but they need to do that both ways. Like a guy comes in like real fucked up, bruises on his face, they need to be like, we need him to tell the story. That is a good thing. Spousal abuse, that's another fucking problem. Maybe we'll have a special on that one day. I have to beat my wife first, so I get like experience.
Well, she does that to you, so like, I mean,
she once stabbed me with a nail file. Now listen, she once stabbed me with a knife too. So, brother, like, and I don't know if any other guy likes to do this, but sometimes, very, very rarely, and I've not done it in a while, I like to make her real mad. Just like being goofy, real mad, like fucking tickling her and shit like that. And
just irritate the hell out of her.
yeah, like she'll be sitting on the couch. I'll just come by and just like pull her off the couch, and her like butt will hit the ground. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Stop me. Huh? And I'm fucking sit there and touch her fat. Just, I don't know. And then we'll like start like, like I'm play fighting. She is very much so fighting.
Yeah.
Like I said, she stabbed me with a little nail file. I'm just like, oh, you feel better now? She's just like, oh, I want to kill you so bad. And I'm just like, yeah, I know you do, but you can't. Because then you go to jail for murder. So all you can do is divorce me. So you going to divorce me? I'm glad she didn't divorce me, because that was some pretty dumb shit. But listen, guys, I think this has been a very special Mike and Dylan hate drama special. I'm not going to push any of the shit. I'm not going to tell you where to submit. I'm just going to say, hey, if you were feeling some type of way, please fucking talk to somebody, because I guarantee you they would rather talk to you than talk at your funeral. I know that's like a fucking Facebook post. All right.
One of the crazy things is you can talk to ChatGPT. Like, I mean, you can.
If at bare minimum, if you're afraid to talk to somebody, talk to ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
Do you know what that spell, or what that, like, that's actually French, even though that's not French. It's like the cat shit or something like that.
Is it really?
Something weird like that. Yeah.
This is why we should never let like nerds make shit.
No.
Like,
I don't know that they meant to do it.
Like the mean people. Yeah. Like the meme, not mean. We always thought like the rich people, like when you were in school, it was like this real bookworm kid, and he was like, that's gonna be the guy. And it's like, and I think it's that guy over there who's like just like dumb, but he's like smart, but he's just like dumb.
Yeah. And
just doing the dumbest shit you ever seen. Like, that's gonna be the guy. Those guys we made fucking, or they made it themselves because they're fucking wickedly smart. And the public education, we need to do a special on that too. How everybody's fucking different, man. Just because you're not a goddamn good at memorizing fucking math problems, there's other things you can be amazing at. But once again, talk to somebody.
And thank you for listening.
And when life feels like too much and you can't go any farther, just remember, taking that little step might be the fucking thing that you need to get that spark. And I love you guys, and we will see you next time.
Later.